first time ever, our summer virtual courses. So joining us this evening, we have our panel or our guests of our neuroeducators with us. They'll be the instructors for our courses that we're running this summer, and they are super qualified to be running these courses. So we're going to start off first with they're going to introduce themselves, and then they're also going to talk about these amazing courses that we are offering and what they have in store for your children. So we're going to actually start off with neuroeducator Yancy. She's going to start off with introducing herself and discussing the courses that she's teaching.
Absolutely. So hello, everyone. I am neuroeducator Yancy. I am the co-founder of NeuroAdvanced Academics. And for our summer virtual courses, I am going to be teaching creative writing and a bad case of the stripes. In creative writing, our focus will be poetry for over a 3-week period. We are going to go over various types of poetry. We are going to talk about how poetry and music are similar, and there are going to be different writing assignments that your children are going to enjoy. And then they're going to come out with a portfolio of different types of poetry. They're going to come out with various resources of how to write poetry. They are going to come out with an abundance of information. And then they're also going to come out with a excitement and a love of writing. So I'm so excited to open up this course to your children and your family, and I'm excited to have you all. Next course I'm going to be teaching is a bad case of the stripes. So in this, it's a book. The book is called A Bad Case of the Stripes. We are going to go through that book. We'll read it, and then we're going to go through it very intricately. And we're going to talk about how the immune system is affected, what happens when we eat different things, what happens when we take medicine, different things, and how that affects the body. And so that's what we're going to talk about in the course A Bad Case of the Stripes. I'm so excited to meet all of your children, those that have signed up, and those that haven't that are going to. I'm excited to meet you all as well. Thank you.
That was wonderful. So one, I appreciate the course. So if you know that your children need to work on their writing skills, or if they're really into writing, you definitely want to sign them up for this creative writing course. And the Bad Case of the Stripes, if they have read this book before, if they're interested in the body and how the body works, this is the perfect course for them to sign up. So while we're on bodies and talking about anatomy and physiology, we're going to go upstate to New York, and neuroeducator Rabia is going to introduce herself and talk about the classes that she's teaching this summer with us.
Hi everyone, I'm Rabia. I'm going to be teaching 2 courses. I'm going to be teaching the Anatomy and Physiology Be the Physician course. In that course, we're going to start off by reviewing the basic concepts of like the human body, the cells, the tissues, the organs. We're going to take it up to the next level, and we're going to review all the human body systems. While I'm doing this, I begin every class with a fun fact, true or false question. There's a lot of myths that people have about the human body, and we're going to go through it system by system. We're going to debunk these myths, and we're going to help the children understand why they're considered wrong. And while we're doing this, we're going to be doing some case studies as well. With every system that we're going through, I want the students to be able to identify some commonly found diseases in each one. For example, if we're studying the respiratory system or the circulatory system, we're going to be talking about COVID, and we're going to be talking about asthma. So the concepts that I'm teaching the students really apply to their real life scenarios as well. At the end, I'm going to ask the students to come up with their own case study, identify a disease that I did not discuss in class, and we're going to talk about what organs it impacts, how it affects the human systems, and how likely is a person to contract this disease. And that's going to be our last class. The students are going to be able to discuss and learn about various diseases and apply it to their real life as well. My goal for this class is to have your children come out and just be curious to know about, like, why did this happen? How come our human body works this way? Because I feel like if I can trigger their curiosity, they can go ahead and take it to the next level, and on their own free time, research more. And should I talk about the second course as well, or? Okay, so the second course I'm going to be teaching is unethical medical practices. This is very timely in the sense of like what's been going on around systemic issues that we're facing. Some of the issues we're going to be talking about is Henrietta Lacks. And she was an African American woman whose cells were used without her permission, and we're going to go into more detail with it. Another big part of our course is going to be the Tuskegee study. In the Tuskegee study, there were a group of African American men who were studied without their consent in hopes of being able to find a drug. And it turns out that the study continued on for about 60 years, and these men had they were treated very unethically. We're going to go into more details in the class, but this helps the students understand the systemic issues we're having in education and healthcare and in other aspects as well. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Rabia, can you tell us a little bit about what you do, your background?
Oh, okay, of course. So throughout my professional career, I worked as a teacher. While I was working as a science teacher, I realized that I wanted to know more about science myself. So I went on and I pursued a master's degree in biotechnology. While I was doing my degree in biotechnology, I focused a little bit on informatics, bioinformatics, and how can we teach these to students. So I'm hoping to use a lot of my science-heavy background and simplify it for my students that are in high school and middle school, not so much the graduate level. Throughout my course of my professional career, I also worked as a curriculum writer. I'm really well rehearsed in the middle school science standards, whether it's next generation science standards or the general core standards. And as of recently, I am starting educational consulting, and my focus is on restorative justice and restorative approaches in the schools.
Thank you so much, Rabia. We are so excited to have you on our team. So up next, we are going to have Miss Jennifer Posey. If you would like to come on and just tell us a little bit about yourself and what class you'll be teaching.
Uh-oh. I'm trying to get there. Uh-oh. Might have to leave, get Shonda. Sorry. Hi, I'm Jennifer Posey, and my class is Reading Matters, and mine is simple. I have pre-K students to first grade, and we're going to unpack letters and sounds, and with those letters and sounds, we're going to blend those sounds together to make words, and that's the first start of reading. And then also we're going to do some sight words. We hope to, my goal is to the students to learn at least 10 sight words and leave out of the class reading basic words. Blending is very simple if you do it in an easy way that the children can understand, and not work with them too long because their attention span is very short. So, and oh, my background, I have an EDS in education and special needs and technology. And I'm not working right now, so I have all the free time to help out. And I've been working with children all my life, seems like, and I love working with children. 15 years. I've been actually with the government. I work at Diamond Elementary School. I'm in the process of medical retiring, but I'm like I said, I'm still working with children, and I love working with children.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jennifer. And yes, you are amazing with children. That is good. You are amazing with children, okay? Ms. Jennifer
so wait. So that's my mom, everyone. And she's absolutely she didn't get the job because she's my mom. She's actually incredible on what she does, and she's a bit modest in what she does, but she's
a lot
won
modest.
several awards for what she's done in education. She's received several accolades for the amount of work that she's contributed to education and what she's done. And she actually specializes with children who are not meeting grade level, who are not reading. She's actually received awards for getting those children to the next level. And when they started out below grade level, she's actually gotten some of them in gifted programs, right? Actually gotten some of them in gifted programs. So she's very modest, very humble, but she's phenomenal. So if you have a child that's struggling in reading or having some challenges in reading, you definitely want to sign up for this course as an instructor, because again, she does amazing work, and what her techniques actually do work. So thank you so much. So next we're going to go on down to Atlanta, Georgia with neuroeducator Ija.
Hi, everybody. Ida's sibling, and I'm going into my 11th year of I specialize in studies and literacy. I hold an education specialist in curriculum management and administration, and I absolutely love teaching social studies. I've taught English, but social studies is my favorite. So when I was asked to teach the course about Africa, I was like, yes, because I've taught in Georgia. I've taught 7th grade social studies, and it covers Africa as one of the areas of study. So I'm going to be teaching the Africa Geography and Culture course, and it has 2 sections. It has the 2nd through 5th grade, and it has the 6th through 9th grade. So for the 2nd and 5th grade, the students are going to learn the geography and the culture of the African continent. We're going to focus on basic history of the continent, including the indigenous tribes and also colonization of the continent. What I really like to do with this group is to analyze the importance of prominent figures such as Nelson Mandela and his wife, Winnie Mandela, also Desmond Tutu and the Lost Boys. And then, of course, it wouldn't be right if we didn't take time to do a deep compare and contrast of the American Civil Rights Movement to apartheid in South Africa as well. I would like to do like a small book study with this group by reading Africa is Not a Country. That's one of the biggest misconceptions with a lot of small children. A lot of people in general, they think that Africa is a country, but Africa is a continent hosting over 50 countries. And so we're going to read that book and do kind of a small book studied by Margie Burns Knights, and then we're going to do some journal writing as well with topics such as what role does the wealth of natural resources play on the economic development of Africa, and also should African countries become involved in the Black Lives Matter movement. And then for the 2nd section, the 6th through 9th graders, I'm also going to teach them geography and culture of the continent, but this group is going to specifically focus on the scramble for Africa and how the results built profitable empires in European countries, and also the misconceptions that were placed into the Western world about the African continent. These scholars will take a deep dive into Africa's contribution to American wealth and greed. We will analyze periods of Black wealth in America, such as Black Wall Street, and also look at the race riots in Atlanta where Black businesses were destroyed, and also known as a massacre as well because Black lives were lost during this time. And also just take a look at some self-made millionaires, African-American millionaires. And then for this group book study, they're going to read A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park, which I've read millions of times with my 7th graders. They are going to love it. And it basically focuses on the civil war in Sudan, and we're going to talk about how the civil war influenced life in just not that one country in Africa, but also how it influenced life in America, as a lot of those boys were transported from Africa to America. And then they're going to work on a similar project, but they are going to focus on the 2020 civil rights movement and the Black Lives Matter movement. And they're also going to focus on the political climate that we're experiencing right now. So I know there may have been a lot, but that's my class.
So that was excellent. Okay, so I'm not sure. Like, I want to audit all of these classes, and especially if you want to expose your children to what's going on currently in history, this is the class that you definitely want to sign them up in, for. Especially if they're interested in history or interested in this movement that's going on, you definitely want to sign them up for this course. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to introduce my courses. Neuroeducator Shirley. I'm actually the co-founder of NeuroAdvanced Academics, and my background is in medical sciences. And so the courses that I'm going to be teaching are, the first course is neuroscience, brain sensory. And in the brain sensory course, I have 2 sections for 5th and 8th grade, and then 9th grade for rising seniors. And so what we're going to be looking at is, I always like to tell my students, we don't really see with our eyes, we really don't hear with our ears, we don't taste with our tongue, we don't feel with our skin. So we're going to be looking at, okay, so how does our brain actually process this information and what we're hearing, seeing, tasting, and touching, and how do all of these things get to our brain, so our brain can actually analyze what we're seeing, what we're tasting. Are we really tasting what we think that we're tasting? How can we trick our brain and make our brain think different things? And so we're going to get into different perceptions and how our brain perceives things. So if your child is very interested in and curious on the brain and how the things around us even work, how the senses even work, how do we smell certain things, and how can we turn that sense of smell off, you definitely want to sign your child up for this course. I'm also teaching global health pandemonium, and what we're looking at is the coronavirus is not the first outbreak that has occurred globally. So we're going to be diving into Ebola, AIDS, HIV. We're going to be looking at various disease viruses and how these viruses work. But then we're also going to be looking at the political standpoint. What is the World Health Organization doing? What is our government doing? What kind of policies can we make to prevent this from happening again? How do vaccines even work? So we're going to be diving in, and again, that's a 2-section course for 5th and 8th grade, and then for 9th grade to rising seniors. And again, it's going to be broken down so your child can definitely understand it, not only understand it, but master it and absolutely love it. The other course that I'm teaching, is I'm going to be teaching the Inventors and Innovation course. I teach that course currently with NeuroAdvanced Academics, and we're going to be understanding the thought process of what it takes to actually create an invention and what it means to be innovative. We're going to be breaking things apart. We're going to be building things. We're going to be understanding how patents work. So hopefully your child will come out with their own invention at the end of the course, or working towards making their own invention. So that's all of the courses. Those are the courses that I'm actually teaching for this summer. So we are super excited. Again, thank you everyone that has signed up for so far. Those that still have to sign up, we still have limited amount of spaces, but we're only taking up to 10 students per section. And so we're super excited about this. So neuroeducator Yancy is going to close us out. Again, and she's going to tell you how you can register for the courses.
So thank you all for taking your time out and watching this our open house. We are so excited to have you all join us next week. Yes, we are starting next week. And just like she said, we are only taking a limited amount of students. The reasoning why is because we want to be able to focus on each child at their level and to be able to give them as close to that one-on-one as possible. We want to be able to cater these lessons. Although we have them created, they are structured, we want to be able to cater them and meet the needs of each child where they are. We want each child to come out with as much information, with as much to learn as much as possible. So we are so excited to offer each of these courses to you. Feel free to go back and watch it again if you missed anything. Share with a friend and with anyone that you think may benefit from any of these classes. Just like she stated, we have classes from pre-K all the way up to incoming seniors. So we have something for everyone. For writing, social studies, science, we have something for everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, or at our email, neuroadvancedacademics@gmail.com. You can register for classes by going into our bio, either on our Facebook page or our Instagram page, and clicking on the link right there. It'll take you to our link tree. It'll give you a vast variety of information where you can register for classes. Go ahead and pay. Just click those buttons, 1, 2, and you are signed up. Go ahead and pay right at those same links. It's very convenient. And like I said, if you have any problems, any questions, concerns with registering for the classes, please feel free to reach out to us via any of our messengers or our email. We try to respond within a couple of hours, or depending on the time, the next day. So definitely feel free to reach out to us. We'll answer any of your questions. And I just want to thank you all so much. Thank you, Rabia. Thank you, Aja. Thank you, Miss Jennifer. And thank you, NeuroEducator Jackson, for everything that you all do and contributing to NeuroAdvanced Academics. And if there is nothing else from any of the other educators, we will see you all next week, Monday, when classes begin. Good night.